Hello and welcome to video 13 or Baker's Dozen if you smell what Achilles is baking. So, I wanted to say Dwayne Johnson or The Rock has always been one of my favorite teenage idols from a young age. I like him for his classy one-liners where he says, "It doesn't matter what your name is," references to pie and strudel, being the most electrifying man in sports entertainment today, and having the millions and millions of people supporting him. Every morning he gets up at 4 a.m. to clang and bang in the gym to do new videos and make new movies, support various charities, and spend time with the family. On the subject of working out, I just recently did 4 sets of 25 push-ups, which equals 100, and I'm going to activate that throughout the week. So I'm going to do 700 push-ups every week, or at least try to. I'm pretty sure I'll do it because that's what this whole series is about. So from an early age, I have always been a wrestling fan. When I saw Hulkamania rip his shirt, when I heard him say, "You better say your prayers and eat your vitamins because what you gonna do when the Hulkamania comes for you?" When I saw The Undertaker put a shocking eminence over the ring and just scare the living bejesus out of everybody. Or then when I saw the Ultimate Warrior run down the ring and just shake the ropes. Ugh! That was just like craziness. So I find in itself that wrestlers are larger than life superheroes that always have the crowd either cheering or booing for them, and who wouldn't want like thousands of people cheering or booing for them because you're remembered in that sense, and that is why wrestlers wrestle well into their 50s and everybody remembers them. So wrestling in itself is a professional sport and a male soap opera. The matches themselves are predetermined, but not fake. Anybody that says that they're fake really does not have any idea what they are talking about. So I love wrestling just because there is no off season for wrestling. I found it very funny one year, wrestling says it's the season premiere. I'm like, when did they say that it go off air? And I'm just like, and then what it is with wrestlers, they've got to spend up to 200 days of the year away from their family, just living in various hotels, traveling up and down roads, and just trying to make it big. And WWE or World Wrestling Entertainment is the biggest conglomerate for wrestling right now in the entire world, and it's just that's always the chance to get with them because I don't know how many countries they're in now, but they're in up to maybe 30 or 40 or maybe even more, and it's just it's huge there, and it's just that is the place you want to be with wrestling. So furthermore, wrestling itself is a very brutal sport. I referenced getting slammed on that mat. That is just absolutely ridiculous. Do you know how much that hurts? The mat itself is made out of 2 inches of plywood, and then 2 inches of foam, and then a shock absorber. So even getting slammed on that, it hurts like shit because it's pulled tight. But anyways, that's more on the logistics of it. But if you even look at some wrestlers like Mankind, Mick Foley, his book, Have a Nice Day, all the brutality he went through, the brutality involves steel chairs, tables, cages, sledgehammers, and getting slammed on concrete, and like I said, and barbed rope matches, the brutality, and even when they cut themselves with a razor, you really can't fake some of that shit because the toll on the body is just brutal. For me, I draw an analogy to wrestling because it's literally when you're faced with a challenge, what are you gonna do? You've got no option but to go forward. You're gonna have regrets every day, but they're not gonna get you for it. And I just find it very funny that people are letting their past actions determine their future when it's just absolutely ludicrous to do that. So and every day, you gotta keep in mind that life can always be worse. So if you give gratitude every day and are thankful for what you have, you'll always be blessed with more. And you just gotta have that emotional like resilience and like persistence to like always go forward. So I draw a personal like analogy with wrestling through that. So I wanted to share with you a quote that I just read from Michael Phelps, the 8-time gold medalist. He says, "There will be obstacles, there will be doubters, there will be mistakes, but with hard work, there are no limits." So that's what you want really in life. No limits. Don't just always go forward with your like agenda, and it's just like people will eventually notice you. So getting back to my story, I was given my first mental stamina trigger, which was counting. So basically, like, I don't even think people realize like how fast time can go, or just even the breakdown of that time. Like, I've since like expanded upon my like time like thing. I've developed various games called the 911 game, like where I just basically think 911, everybody hit the dance floor, oh, like that song. And I've actually built a game out of that. I'll get to that in some later chapters, but I just like to introduce all the shit like I've come up with through my life. Like even right now I'm wearing a home wellness t-shirt. That's one of the connections. That is, it's all yogas and like home. And I'm gonna just, like, I always like to just, like, generally introduce everything that I'm gonna, like, talk to, so you guys are aware of, like, for future chapters. So, living at home with your parents in your mid-20s, it's not ideal, because you really don't have any freedom. And, like, pursuing an active, like, a social life is, like, practically impossible. Like, especially when you don't have a car and you're just, like, totally relying on them. Because, like, when you say stuff to them, if they don't agree with it, they're just like, oh yeah, well, you're gonna have to figure it out. Like friends that you've known from like 5-10 years ago, they may come pick you up, but you never know. So you always gotta be very careful what you say to people and how you act, because that is one of the biggest things that I'm realizing. Like 12 years cancer free, I'd be like, some of the things I just say are absolutely retarded. And he's just like, you're your own biggest critic, and you gotta take personal responsibility for all the actions that you do. So I know my parents care for me, but you do not have to have, yeah, I've already expressed that. Yeah, like where you deem appropriate. So I lived just outside, so I lived just outside of Peterborough, and what I was just expressing that in Buckhorn, that is 20 minutes like outside of like town, and it's just like you really can't walk there. And even when I got a bike, like that was very challenging. So yeah, so also like in this time when I was suffering, like I know I was just developing a deeper purpose of like trying to like help people and being like appreciative for that and just like surviving. But like after a few years, your parents really have that expectation of you wanting to achieve more. So what I'm gonna finish this video for is just like some lessons that I've learned from self-made millionaire named Bedros Keuilian, just on the principles that he expressed in a VIP newsletter about suffering. And then basically what suffering is, it's your greatest ally. And I didn't know it at the time, but suffering forges character, suffering develops self-awareness, suffering uncovers superpowers, suffering builds bonds with brothers, suffering is the seed to better leadership, suffering separates average from extraordinary. And so if you want to be remembered, you have to go through physical, mental, and emotional adversity. So until next time, everyone, I'm going to say Kaizen, ow! And remember to follow me on Instagram at Achilles33.3 or Rob Achilles W on Facebook. And have a great day, guys. And it was a pleasure talking to you. Bye-bye.